All right, so let's try this and let's see this concept in action. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to actually take a look at our templates that we would use for remediation. And we need to get the callback provisioning URL as well as the host config key, which is what we would be using to authenticate the hosts to trigger these. Now from here, we can actually go and create these systemd components. So we have a template, and in this template, we're going to put in all the information. We're going to give our path unit a name, our service a name, give us some descriptions for these systemd components, and ultimately we're going to start adding things like that callback URL and the host config key. Now, most importantly, obviously, because we want to watch certain folders and files, we need to make sure that we put our destination or the targets in terms of what we're looking for. So we're going to launch this. This is going to go and create those systemd components on our hosts, and from there activate the services as well. So the services will be ready to go, and we can see what happens, or if some changes kick in or some changes take place. We will be able to hopefully remediate them quickly without having to really do much. So let's have a look. Are these systemd components actually running? Event number 1. So let's see what happens here. Now we have our nodes, we have our systemd process. Oh, look, we got Sneaky Sean. So Sneaky Sean has arrived, and I wonder what he wants to do. So Sneaky Sean is our hacker intern, and it looks like he wants to modify our user database. So he's probably going to be adding an account. We can see he's adding an account there. Now, because we have systemd watching these files, effectively we should have a trigger that goes back to automation controller for remediation. So he's added an account, and what do we see? We can see that rescue accounts template has kicked off. So we have activated remediation. All right, and if we have a look at the job there, we can see remediation is taking place. Now, it's important that each of these remediation steps, we also are able to count how many steps have taken place, so that we can, kind of keep an eye on how much remediation is actually needed. Now, if we have a look at the database, you can see it's been restored to its previous state. Okay, event number 2. So what else is going to happen? Let's have a look at our systems. All right, so it looks like Sneaky Sean is back, and what is he doing? He's looking at our web server. It looks like he's going to remove or edit our web server. Now, this could have been a website, this could be a web application, or could be an application in general. But lucky for us, we do have systemd watching this as well, so you can see immediate remediation being triggered. And we're now running a rescue web app template to go and restore the files that might have been tampered with. So if we go and we have a look now, is that file back? Is it still there? We should be able to see that everything has been restored the way it was. All right, so event number 3, what do we have? We've got, I think we've got Sean is back. So event number 3, now we have Sean back, and let's see what he's going to be doing. It looks like he's having a look at our SE Linux configuration, so he's probably going to be trying to modify this. Now, luckily for us, again, we have a systemd watcher in place who's actually looking at these files. So as soon as any change would take place, again, we can try trigger some kind of remediation. Now, because systemd is more of a compliance issue, because systemd is required for our production, you can see that we're running a compliance remediation playbook. So this is going to check that host and make sure that things are the way they should be. So we should go and change those SE Linux settings the way they should be, and everything should be happy after that. Now, event number 4. All right, so now let's see what is going to happen now. Now this is going to be the 4th attempt at something. We can see that Sean's at it again. And what is he doing? He's trying to add another user account. So we've done this before, we've seen this before, but I think the key thing here is we are triggering an API request every time remediation runs. So we've added up the number of these attempts on this specific host. And because they've now hit a limit that we've set, we're actually going to proceed to the next steps. So because we've had 4 events, we are now going to raise a ticket in ServiceNow to let our support teams know that something is not right on the system. Someone is trying to do something, whether it's malicious or by accident, but the support teams actually need to know. So part of this ticket escalation is we also do a aid check. So we can see the intrusion and we can see the file changes that have taken place since the last aid check and update. So again, we'll have a look at the user database. We can see it's not been modified or it's been restored, which is fine. And ultimately, a support engineer is going to now have a look at that ticket, and he's going to go and open up the aid report so they can have a look at any type of intrusion or any changes to the system and take further steps after that.